close, because it's not far off. You stop.
It's episode 37. Welcome.
Don't do welcome of that one. You could have had that done by now and be done with it.
You're fibbing, aren't you?
No.
Do something new. Stephen Weft.
In 1825, the same year Nana Wendy was born. Isn't it right?
How can you not be fibbing?
Because I think you could have been well into that by now. Before I show my next project, can I just go for a wee?
Yay! We're home.
We're home.
Oh, thank goodness. We spent so much time not enjoying home, and then
When?
well, we always aspired to be somewhere else. You know, for home to be somewhere else.
Oh, right. Yes, I see what you mean.
And then I think it was predominantly after I got ill. I think it's definitely then that you just start to realise all the things that you're lucky for, and for all the downsides. And there's downsides, isn't there, for all of us, wherever we are normally, but where we live. You know, you can always see negatives in things.
Well, you can.
But actually, the positives really showed themselves when we arrived home after being away, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's like even Bridie's like,
She always likes to get home, and I think anybody likes to get home. And at the end of the day, you know, your home is your home, isn't it? And it is what you make it.
yeah, and I think especially if your heart's there.
Yeah, and you know, it was such a relief to think, oh, we don't have to move for a while, and let's just make the most of it. So we decorated a bit, didn't we, last year?
Yeah.
And I want to repaint our bedroom. I told you that the other day.
Mm.
We painted it last January, wasn't it? We repainted our bedroom, and we do like one accent wall, I suppose a designer would call it, and it's the one the bed is against. And we did it this really beautiful, like emerald green, isn't it? I've kind of gone off it. I kind of want a. Do you know what colour I want? I was painting my nails this morning.
All right.
And I really like that colour.
All right. Okay.
It's like a. Can you see that colour? It's called Mauve Kiss. It's a Maybelline polish, a 60-second something or other, called Mauve Kiss, and it's like a browny mauvey colour.
It's got sparkles in it.
It has. I've put sparkles on top.
Could we have
because
sparkles on
I
yours?
was inspired by, on the Yarngasm podcast, Kristen has been putting this top coat on that she said is like fairy hair colourway that she does, and it's a Sally Hansen top coat. I think it's called Extreme Wear Strobe Light, is it? Something like that. Well, I looked for it because I thought, oh, I've got to get some of that. And I could find it on Amazon, but it was shipping from the US, and it was like £20 odd. So I don't think I'll ever be getting any strobe light, but I got sort of a similar. So we could have sparkles on our wall, couldn't we?
That would be so cool.
Sparkly wall.
To have a sparkly wall.
I think you can get like a top coat of paint.
What would be
can't
cool would be LED lights.
Oh,
all over. How cool
we
would
have
that
got
be?
lights on the back
But
of the bed.
imagine, do you know, like a star cloth in the theatre? Imagine if in...
Nathan's laughing his head off now.
Why?
It's like they want a theatre star cloth behind their
I'm not
bed.
saying I want a star cloth, but I just think if you could have built into the wall... I mean, only a builder could ever do this, and someone... But so you just flicked a switch and it like twinkled.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Twinkle lights.
Imagine waking up to that. It'd be like, or on the ceiling too. I'm getting carried away. We forgot to say, actually, it's episode 37.
Episode 37. I'm repeating you again.
Will
you stop me doing this? I must do it on every single episode.
What was quite funny is...
Drive myself, do lally.
When I was... I started editing The Favourite Places to Knit, coming up later in the show.
Was I doing it then?
And you were doing it then. I said...
I am going to stop. I will no longer do it.
No. I don't want you to stop. I like it. It's nice. I don't think you should deliberately do it, but I think if it naturally happens...
I don't deliberately do it. I don't even remember doing it.
But no one's bothered, are they, about it? It just emphasises points, which I quite like. You sort of pick out the highlights. If Kay repeats something, it must be important. It's episode 37. Welcome.
I don't do the welcome again.
It's like an echo. I love it. So episode 37, and so we're delighted to be home, but because of some of the feedback that you gave, and also because of some truly dreadful weather that's still in the process of milling around, it's very strange because whilst it has been cold, it's now suddenly got really warm.
It's very warm at the minute. Yesterday was like 15 degrees C, which for almost mid-November
Do you know what?
is crazy.
That just makes me angry. Yeah. But because of this tricky weather, we had to postpone our second part of Robin Hood, which is so annoying. Because everything was planned and I was really looking forward to it, but then it just, in the space of a day, one day the weather looked fine. And then the next day it changed to rain, so we thought we're going to have to postpone, and we did the right thing because it sort of rained up until about 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then the sun came out, which was really great, as you'll see when we go on our favourite place to knit. So it is not the scheduled favourite places to knit, but because of your wonderful feedback, and I'll talk about this when we go there, we actually carried on the story of the Age of Steam.
It's really interesting, and the place we went to is literally 10 minutes from here in the car, isn't it? And we've been numerous times over the years, but haven't been for a couple of years. So it was really good to go back because they have different exhibitions, don't they, periodically through the year. So there's always something new to look at. And Bryony really likes it there. So.
And hopefully you will too. So that's later on the show. But now it's time. Kay Jones, what's on your needles?
That's nice. You don't squeeze.
What is on your needles, woman?
What's on my needles? I'm just getting to the end of a row.
Is it that you're doing?
Yes. Well, it might as well be, hadn't it, seeing as I'm knitting on it?
Yes.
I was working on this on holiday, but I have done some more since. So that's where I'm up to. It's fun, isn't it?
It's super fun. And we can see the project.
Yeah, and you can
Unlike
see
last
it this
episode,
time.
We had a light disaster. I'm so sorry.
It was every holiday house we ever go in, apart from the Russian cottage, the lighting there was really good.
Because it had big windows, it was natural light.
I really want to go back there, but it's so expensive, with the Russian cottage that we stayed in last year, and the one we stayed in just now, it's half the price of the Russian cottage, in high season. It's literally half the price. And they're only a few miles apart, and it does make you think twice, doesn't it?
It really does, because especially with the new ones, though.
Well, the lady it's a Chatsworth holiday cottage that we stayed in. However, it's sort of run by this really lovely lady, and she came round the first night to see if everything was okay. And I said to Dan afterwards, I'm a bit confused because that's never happened with a Chatsworth cottage before. It's run by Chatsworth, and normally you just collect the key and you go in and everything. But she was talking as if it was actually hers, and I said, I'm going to ask her about, the situation. And I did, and she said that she's actually in partnership with the Duke of Devonshire. So they put a load of money into the project, and the Duke of Devonshire put money in as well. And they basically split the profit. It's a profit-sharing sort of venture.
The thing is that they must have bought... Have they bought the properties off the...
No.
Right.
It's split. It's all split.
It's very weird.
It's a strange setup, yeah. But basically, they get...
I'm sorry, but I would only be interested in doing that if I owned the land.
Well, I mean, they obviously
Outright.
don't. Well, they obviously don't.
No, I know. I realise.
Chatsworth get a booking fee, and then they get the rest of the money.
You see, you talk about that though, and you talk about the cost. When you consider what... I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in this country, certainly as long as I can ever remember, what 80% of people must do is they save up through the year and they go for 2 weeks away in the sun.
And that's what a lot of people in Britain do.
How much does that cost?
It's a lot of money.
It's obscene
I
money.
used to have holidays like that before children and before I met Dan and things. That's what I used to do. I used to go away for 2 weeks in the summer, and that was it. That was the only holiday that you had.
And they were expensive holidays.
They're expensive holidays.
And, first of all, luckily we wouldn't want to do it.
No.
But we also have never been able to afford it.
No, not thousands. So we much prefer to
Two single weeks.
We have
in this country.
We have a week in the summer, and then we might have a week at Easter. Or in this case, we had a week in October and a couple of days at Easter we had, didn't we?
So we get 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
It's separate in the year, and it must cost us, for those 2 weeks away, it must cost us half what it
Maybe.
costs people to go away.
You know, I think a lot of people, because of the weather, they just rush away to Spain, Portugal, places like that, Greece. Back to the sock, and that was the sparkly heel that I put in, and you can see the sparkles there, and it matches my nail. Yeah, and it matches my nail polish.
It's beautiful.
So I'm well down the foot now, and I've got various yarns in here. There's Regias, they're all kind of Regias and Opals, Osterman steps, those types of yarns. When I finish this, I don't necessarily feel that I've got to cast on the second one straight away because they don't match. I don't know, there's something about that. I just think, well, I might just, stick it in a bag and I'll knit the second one when I feel like knitting it. And there's something about the fact that they're not the same that makes me feel that. I don't know why. So yeah, so that's that. And I'm knitting those on 2.25s and I'm magic looping.
But that looks lovely, and amazing to think
Yeah.
that that's all been created from lots of little scraps.
It's good. And I know I'll have loads of ends to weave in. I've honestly not got a problem with
Do you
weaving
know
ends
what?
in.
I enjoy weaving in ends.
I don't mind it at all.
I find it
I think
fun.
it kind of makes a nice change, and
But also as well, it's like cutting the umbilical cord. It's
it
like,
is. I said that before. I think you're at the end and you're finishing it off, and that's
and without doing that, it would sort of not be quite right. There would be
No.
something wrong with.
yeah. So Dan Jones, was that a good one?
It was. I
I'm seamless.
Well, I don't know
now
about
I've said
that.
that,
I don't know
I'm
about
not
that.
really seamless,
There was
am I?
about probably a second and a half too long a wait.
Right. Right.
Seamless would have been just slightly quicker, but I'm fairly impressed. I give you an extra half a mark for that one. Last time you got a 6, so 6.5 for that
Right.
one. So
Will
well
I ever
done.
get a 7?
Yeah.
What's on your needles?
Well, it's a Ricky
I
hat.
cannot believe you've not finished that yet. I think it's
Quiet.
completely disgraceful that you're still knitting the rib of that one. You could have had that done by now
No,
and be done with it.
You're fibbing, aren't you?
No,
How can you not be fibbing?
because I think you could have been well into that by now.
Have I not been doing this?
Well, clearly not, otherwise you'd have finished it.
That's not true.
Just winding you up, honey.
She's so mean.
I'm doing a Ricky wind up.
Yeah, well, it's an easy thing. It's my Achilles heel. I don't like it.
Oh, now it comes out.
I think because I've come to the conclusion that it's going to make a nice Christmas present,
Gonna make a beautiful present.
but because of my gauge, I like the
The fact it stands up by itself. Look.
fabric. Yeah, but
I mean, is that normal, really?
I'm struggling to find the
It's
words.
so pretty, though. It
There-
looks
there
so
is-
pretty.
I think, in fact, I more than think, I know that the reason why this looks nice is because of the yarn.
The yarn makes it. I agree. The yarn
So
makes
Erica
it
Luna-
because it really shows off beautiful yarn. The garter, it's all garter stitch. I think it really does. Variegated yarn. If you've got those skeins of yarn, you don't quite know what to do with. I think this is just perfect.
Seriously, Eric, I couldn't. There's nothing I don't.
I've
Dislike.
said to Erica recently, because I've got a finished object I've knit out of her yarn,
Right.
and it's the most pretty yarn I've knit with in such a long time. It's
What's
gorgeous.
her Etsy shop?
Dreams in Fibre.
Dreams in Fibre. I mean,
It's beautiful.
it really is
Yeah.
great. And our big sort of thing for next year is, and I know we've sort of done this a lot already, but we love indie dyers who have a passion about their, and that's the yarn we want to knit with, and it's what we want to champion, because it's just like chalk and cheese. This is great stuff.
It is.
And this is why I'm finding it so difficult, because I have an intense dislike for the look of this hat.
But if you think about the recipient,
Yes.
she will love it.
I
and
think-
it will look fabulous on her.
And something dawned on me last night, and that is, and James, Dancing Geek, you made this point, and that was when a light switch went on in my head, and I started to understand it more. And this does pick up on actually some frustrations I was having right before we started filming, and a problem that we have about every 3 weeks, don't we, Kate?
Yeah, we don't.
When you lose your hair, as I did, when it grows back, it is such a pain. I think the happiest I've ever been with my hair is Christmas last year.
When you were like a GI.
When it was brown and it was like this fluffy stuff.
Dark brown.
And it was like as cases like a skinhead. Now I'm not a skinhead person and I never will be, so no need to worry. It gets on my nerves. So the reason why I'm saying all this is, do you then understand then that if I don't have very much hair, what is the point in having a slouchy hat? Whereas if you do have lots of hair, like James does,
True.
and like Kay does, you need a slouchy hat. If you're a lady, you need a slouchy hat if you have lots of hair.
Do you know who would look great in a slouchy hat?
Who?
Amber.
Oh yeah.
Amber's got the most fantastic hair you've ever seen. These massive blonde curls.
But then also, you see, another part of me thinks a nice, fitting one with all the hair coming down.
Yeah, but then it squashes the curls and gives you like a hat head, doesn't it?
But if you think I will ever wear a slouchy hat, you are sadly mistaken. So yes, summing up, the yarn exceptional, gift knitting. Do you know what? I'm into this.
You are. I was thinking last night, that hat I knit that didn't quite fit you can go to so-and-so, and I can give that one to that person, and that one I'm knitting now can go to that person. I'm like, carry on. So
there it is. There's my Ricky hat. I'm progressing along very nicely. This was my forfeit from Knit or Forfeit when Kay beat me.
Cool.
Kay Jones, what else
I love
is on
Nathan's
your
last
needles?
podcast. My next project, this pattern was gifted to me by a lovely lady. She's a UK designer. She designs a lot for the UK knitting magazines, things like Knit Now, Simply Knitting, those types of publications. And she'd designed this sock, and she said she thought of me because it uses leftovers, and she knows that I've really enjoyed using leftovers. She sent me the pattern and said, do you want to have a look at it? Yeah, I'll have a look at that pattern. It looks really lovely. And it's called the Lacy Leftovers, and it's by Jane Burns. It is a paid for pattern, but and my printer was running out of coloured ink, but you can see the pattern there. It's got like a lace pattern running down the sock, and the increases and decreases on it make the yarn sort of wave, if you like. It's got like a wavy sort of pattern. Now, she uses Regia for this, and of course I've got loads of Regia, and she uses a 2.75mm needle. That's what she recommends. I've never used 2.75 for socks, so of course I thought I knew better, and I started it using 2.5mm needles. It just came out so tiny, and I didn't rip it out because I wanted to show you, so I knit some and then I just put it onto waste yarn just so I could show you. This was the first one, but can you see how, look, it's tiny, and it obviously does have some stretch. And I put this over my foot, and it did go on, but the problem is it really stretched out the pattern, and I didn't want to overstretch the lace. But I knit this first one using red Angora Merino, is this lilac, and then this is one of the Arnie and Carlos colourways. I'm blocking my face, but it doesn't really matter. And I knit that much of it, and I love the way that it waves there, and it's a really simple lace pattern, very, very nice to knit. But I just thought to myself, do you know what, there's no point in me knitting this whole thing if it is going to be on the small side. And I even tried it on, Bryony's funny with socks. Her feet grow that quickly that I've just stopped knitting her socks. Because she just wasn't getting the wear out of them, but B, because she just finds all yarn itchy, apart from silk, as I think I've said this before. So I've given in with socks with Bryony. So that was my first attempt, and like I say, I wasn't happy with the sizing, and then I thought, right, what shall I do? Shall I stick with this size needle and go up a size? And the stitch count didn't quite match what I normally cast on for socks. So I had a few days where I was just thinking about what to do. And in the end, what I decided to do is just to recast it on, but I was going to use 2.75 mils. And that's what I've done, and it's working this time. And I changed the yarns as well. I don't know why. I just thought, I don't want to recast that on using exactly the same yarn. So I changed the yarns, and this one was living in this lovely bag I got from Mina. I love this print. It was one of her Christmas bags, but I think it's sort of wintry enough to use over a few months, I think, not just at Christmas. Really pretty fabric. It's now in a smaller bag, and I was playing around with bag sizes this week, and I made this really tiny wedge. There it is. Isn't it cute fabric? It's got chickens inside. And at first I thought, well, this could just be a large notions pouch, or, you know, makes brilliant cosmetic bags as well. I thought, oh, I'll maybe make a couple for the shop and see if anybody's interested. And then this morning I thought, you know what? I think I could fit my sock in there. And it totally fits. So if you're knitting a sock, do you know that's with a single ball of the Reggias or Knit Picks Felici, or this one I'm using is actually Drops Fable, where it's the 50-gram balls, totally fits. So you can get your sock in there without a problem. So I'm going to put some of these into the shop, I think, this Saturday, and I'll call them mini wedges, so you can use them for, you know, like I say, a single skein. The 50-gram socks fits in perfectly, and it's great for your handbag then, I think, you know. Zip it up, pop it in your handbag. Or you can use it as a huge notions pouch, or, you know, a makeup bag. So this is the sock that I went with. I'll just put that one nicely again, because that one will be going in the shop. So I recast it on using 2.75 mils, and this time, like I said, I'm using Drops Fable. Fable, I would say Fable. And I've got just a white, and this one I think is called Soft Chocolate Stripes, I think. And look, I'm totally doing a nail polish matching thing this week, aren't I? So that's where I'm up to.
This week?
I know, I do tend to do that. People have noticed. I thought it was a secret thing that I did, but people are like, do you match your nail polish to your projects? Do sometimes do that. So this is where I'm up to this time. So I decided for this one, I thought, oh, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to knit bulk of the sock in the chocolate colour, and then I'm going to do the contrast in the white, and I thought that would look super, not festive, but wintry, I think it looks, and I really do. And this time, you know, it's much stretchier. I've tried it on, it's absolutely fine, and I think the gauge looks okay. You know, with the 2.75, so I'm going with it. So yeah, I'm really liking that. So that's just where I'm up to at the moment. I love the way that, you know, the increases and decreases cause it to do this wavy thing. Really pretty. So if you fancy knitting a lace pair of socks, maybe if you've never knit lace socks, or you've never knit lace, I think this would be a great starting point, because it's really simple lace pattern. So there we go, that's that one.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
You asked me.
And thank you, Jane, for gifting me that pattern.
Is it my go?
Dan Jones,
Yes.
What's on your needles?
Look! This...
Oh.
Do you know what I'm going to call this?
What are you going to call it?
This isn't a bankhead.
No.
That's what this hat is.
That's a good name.
This is not a bankhead.
This is not a bankhead.
But Susie, I still love you.
Oh, we do. Do you feel like a traitor?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm having to fight with every sinew in my body to not start doing...
It could still be a bankhead.
No, it's a windswept by Stephen West.
Because we haven't increased the stitch count yet.
I'm going to the dark side.
You're going to the dark side?
The dark side of the
I
Force.
think you'll enjoy doing that pattern.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Well, you know, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do
Yes.
something new. I'm Stephen West.
Stephen West.
It's the spirit of the Gridwell family Christmas. I didn't even mean to do that. I'm sorry, Stephen West. That was terrible. Stephen, this is your...
Oh, stop it now.
It's the windswept.
Stop. Oh, stop being silly. Yeah, I know. That's like saying don't breathe, isn't it? Alright, don't do that either.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, look.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, matching project.
She's such a naughty girl. Because this morning we planned out. And that's why I said when you showed that one at the start. No, do it now. You've got it out. It's fine. That's a lovely pattern. So this is the Valum Hadriani. It's wonderful yarn. The colours are perfect. She's totally nailed it. It absolutely. I mean, if you go to Hadrian's Wall, those are the colours that you see. It's as simple as that.
Wall.
Yeah, we'll go back soon.
Yeah.
Let's go back soon.
I need to finish these socks. You need to finish that hat. We need to finish I need to finish these socks, and then we can go back and take pictures of them on the wall.
Yeah, and actually that would be good.
Right.
Say nothing. Casual. Do you know what I'm thinking?
No.
Oh,
I do.
good. Well, and now I'm intrigued to know what she thinks I'm thinking.
It's what?
But we can't say anything.
It's that thing. It's that secret thing.
Stop it. Oh. So yeah, it is just at the moment twisted rib. So I'm not into the pattern at all, so I can't make a comment on the pattern yet. I'm sure it's lovely though. Josh, my friend Josh, told me that it is. So I'm sure I will love making it. But that is my Valum Hadriani hat that I started whilst we were on holiday for my birthday. And now it's time to find out what's on your needles, Kim Jones. You need a giant blocker. Who are they for?
You. Do you think they would fit me? Look at the size of it on the blocker.
Christmas present.
Well, it might be.
Result.
Yeah, we're being very mindful. That's my word of the moment. We're being very mindful over Christmas this year, aren't we? Because
we've made the decision to live in the way that we're living.
Yes.
And I said to Kay the other day, I'm so much happier living this way.
My problem is that, we've only got Bryony here, obviously, and I just lose my mind when I'm buying presents for her. Because you just want them to have a nice time, don't you? And I know it's not about the presents, and it's really not. And for me, it's not about the presents.
And it isn't for her.
No. And, she's made a list, and there's not a whole lot on the list, bless her. There really isn't a whole lot on the list. And it's things that we'd already discussed about getting her. Doing these as a Christmas sock would be great, because then it will make me finish them as well by Christmas.
Yeah.
So this is the Valum Hadriani again, in the sock way, and these are the socks that I'm knitting for Dan, and look how big they are on the blocker, but at least it's a good way of just showing you the yarn. I love these can you see these darker spots here? Oh, I just love it.
Stocking filler, that is from Mrs. Claus.
Oh, I just love, and there's like little bits of pink, like a sort of, I don't know if it's going to transfer on the screen, but can you see through here? Can you see these little dots of like a blush pink colour? Which, when you look at the stonework, it does have all these shades in. So it's completely beautiful, the colour. So I just need to get on and finish those. And I'm a good way down the foot now. So yeah, I think I've got maybe 20 more rounds, something like that. And because I'm doing this pattern, which is in groups of 4, it's like a mini blueberry, isn't it? I'm knitting 3 rounds and then just doing knit 2, purl 2 for 1 round. So because it's in groups of 4, it's really easy to count how many rows, because I count rows. It's really easy, you're going 4, 8, 12 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. And I put a little marker every time I do a sort of group of however many. I'm moving my little progress keeper that I got from Molly up, so I can then, it's easy for me to see where I am. And I'm knitting those on 2.5 mils, higher, those ones. When did you start that?
Aha!
I don't even remember.
How cool is that?
Was it an evening I was falling asleep like last night?
Opal. Is this Opal?
Yes.
It's the first time I've ever knit socks with Opal.
I know.
Here is the yarn. The yarn is very, very nice.
Oh, do you like it?
Yes.
Oh no, I thought you would. It's a 6-ply from Opal, so it's like a sport weight.
Gosh, I'm knitting with sport weight.
Yeah. Because they do an 8-ply as well, which is a DK, and I've actually got some in my Endy bits. I've got a mass of Endy bits this week.
Oh, they don't give it names, do they? It's got a number.
Oh, no, it has got a name, but
right.
This one's in German. Hang on a minute, I'll just show it. It's the Opal 6-ply Daydream, the ones with the kitty cats on. And it's colour 8353. It will have a name, I just can't remember what it was. I'm thinking it might be something like Midsummer Night's Dream.
Why is there a man on there?
Midsummer Night's Dream or something. I'm probably completely wrong. Because that's Mr. Whatever.
And here they are. This is a 2x2 twisted rib.
Wow.
It looks really good.
Don't you think? How many
does
did
it?
you
Does
cast?
it?
How many did you cast on? 48.
Whatever was for you.
Let me just check. That's fine. The stretch is fine on that. Cool. I just worry these at the minute with your gauge is so blooming tight. I just panic that things are going to come out so much smaller. But I think you're knitting that. I think I gave you 4mm needles for those actually.
Look at it though.
It's very nice.
These are going to be corkers. But I think I'm going to enjoy it. I think it's. But I mean, I must admit, knitting with the thinner yarn is slightly more challenging.
Is it?
It's all right then.
Right.
But challenge is good. But yeah, I'm really enjoying. It's my first one, obviously this one, and I'm not going to make the mistakes I made on the last socks.
You're just knitting the one that we always knit for a DK weight. I mean, obviously this is a bit lighter. It's lovely. Tracy Darby, hello Tracy. The incredibly easy socks. You can see how well used this pattern is. Look at the state of it. I should print off another one.
No.
But I think I've knit 9 pairs of these now, and you've knit a few, haven't you?
Yeah. But no, it's really good fun. Really enjoying it. Twisted rib, and yeah, I shall keep you posted as we go.
And that's really nice yarn, isn't it? That?
It is. It's lovely. It's lovely. What else is on your needles?
Well, my next project. It's actually a number of projects, sort of all together, but one of them is new. First of all, I have reorganised. It's my sock yarn blankets. I've reorganised my blankets recently because I'm in preparation for something that I'm going to do starting 1st of December. But in anticipation of that, I thought, right, I'm going to reorganise myself with my blankets because my blanket had outgrown the bag it was in. It was just ridiculous. So I went to TK Maxx. We went to TK Maxx, didn't we, this week? And I bought myself this cute little basket. And I've now got both my main sock yarn blanket, the big one, and my pink and purple one are both in here. And the main reason I wanted to do this is because the wonderful Amber sent me another huge parcel of minis. I was just beyond, I can't even tell you. And I'll show you some of them in Endy Bits. She sent one whole sort of bag. They were all packaged up beautifully like this, like she does. I mean, just beautiful. And I've taken most of them out of the packets, just for ease really. Some of them are still in the little packets, but if you can you see in my basket? And I'll get Dan to put up a picture now, or I took a picture of the minis when I took them out. So Dan's just putting you up a picture now of the minis. You are. Oh. But they're all in there, and she also sent this lovely lavender, so I've got that in there as well to make everything smell yummy. So I've got a whole mass of Amber minis. But I mean, I don't really, I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, look. It's just unbelievable. Don't get your face in there too much because it's lavender and that makes you sneeze, doesn't it?
Yeah, pollen.
But I love it. Anything makes Dan sneeze. But look, I mean, just look at all. I'm still kind of speechless. And there's No Makers, Leading Men Fibre Arts, Miss Babs, all of these beautiful yarns, So I thought, right, they need their own basket. They're just so beautiful. So I put them all in there, and then I've got my blanket, which I don't know that I've worked on this since last time. I might have put 1 or 2 in, but not significant because I've been doing something else, which I'll show you now. And then there's my pink and purple one in my lovely Stitched by Sasha bag, and again, I don't think I've worked on that, but they both fit in there beautifully, so it's all in there and ready. But what I did, I had a moment of, some would say madness, some would say inspiration. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's a mixture of both.
No, it'd be inspiration.
I don't know what made me think of, for ages and ages now, right, I've been thinking that there must be another way of knitting mitre squares into a blanket, but just a bit different. I suppose it's actually a combination of 2 of my favourite blankets that I've started. Now, I was going to keep this a secret and not show it, because I may write up the pattern, and I thought, should I show it? And then I thought, do you know what? Life's too short not to share things, I think. And this is probably going to take me a few months to finish. And to have something on the go that long that I can't talk about, I would just find frustrating. So I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to show it. And if my idea was that I'd take the mitered square blanket, analogue cabin blanket and combine the two. I suppose my inspiration for this was, I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit 12 blocks, and each block will represent a month of the year. And the colours within that block represent each of those months. And I thought this is a great project that you can have on the go through the year, because each of the blocks doesn't really take a massive amount of time. You know, you could easily knit a block a month, or you could go ahead and just knit it as quick as you wanted. But I thought, how fun would it be to each month knit a block, you know, with colours that represent that month. And it's obviously, this is my interpretation of what I see as those monthly colours, if you like. So I've knit, the first one I knit was January. I thought I'll start with January. So I chose a bunch of colours that I thought reflected January. So here's my square for January. And this one will sit in a corner. So that's why, you know, on two sides you've got more of the garter than on the other two sides, because these two sides here will obviously have other squares around them and will make the same size then as these ones. And I can't tell you how fun this was. Choosing the colours, you know, going through all of my minis and picking out colours that I thought represented that particular month. So for January, obviously I've gone for, you know, icy colours, cold, snow, frosty, frozen sort of colours. And then I am bordering it with just an opal cream. And I've got 2 skeins of that, which is enough. And the other thing I wanted to do when I thought I'm going to write this pattern out, I know there are lots of free patterns out there for mitered squares and log cabins, but what I find that there may be lacking is details about, you know, you're picking up of the stitches and how you do it and you're finishing and all that kind of thing. So I thought if I do put this pattern out, what I'm going to do is put in a whole bunch of video tutorials so that you can see exactly how to do it, because I do think, you know, the finishing is everything. And I'll show you the back, and the back, you know, is really neat, and I love that it's that neat. And I know there are lots of people out there that like getting things neat and are like me. So this will be an ongoing design project, I suppose, you know, until it's finished. So like I said, that was my January, and in there I've got some dance socks, which was No Makers. That's the No Makers Tweedy Mint Choc Chip, I think that one is. And knit socks last year out of that one. That's a Madeline Tosh Merino Light. That one is a tweed yarn that I've just bought that I added in straight away. So, and I really love how it came out. And it's, like I said, it was just super fun to do. And after I'd done January, I thought, oh, do you know what, I'm going to do November, because we're in November. And November is bonfire night and it's fireworks. That's what it represents for me. You know, if you're in the US, maybe, you know, it would be more Thanksgiving sort of colours, you know, turkey and all that kind of thing. But this is so far, so I decided fireworks, sparkles, bright colours. So all of the yarns that I've chosen for November all have sparkle in. So this is where I'm up to so far with November, and all of the sparkle might not be transferring, but they're all sparkly. I put this one in this morning, and I love that one in particular. I think it's gorgeous. So you get the idea on what November's going to be like. It's these bright sparkly colours, and the size of my squares is different to in my other blankets. So yeah, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm using this little tiny bag for when I choose. That's the rest of my kind of November colours that I'm going to use. And then I also, in anticipation of December, I went through and picked out December colours. And there, if you can see my December colours, it's all reds and golds and greens. And it's just so fun to pick out the colours. You know, and I've got it all written down. I've planned out all of my, you know, my colours and the themes for each month. And then I quickly drew a little schematic, which again, I would put all these things in the pattern, you know, and I'm making loads of notes, how much each of how much they all weigh, how much the borders weigh, so that you can plan out the whole thing, you know, and know that you've got enough yarn. So that's that, and I've not got a name for it or anything yet. So, but that's something I will no doubt but it will pop into my head at some stage. So I'm loving that, and I've knit that whole thing and that since really I hadn't started this till after we came back off holiday, so not that long really, is it?
So you're all done then with your blankets?
Yes, that's all mine.
How many's on the go now?
Possibly 4.
Oh. And when do you think you'll finish them all? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter,
Does
no,
it?
it doesn't matter, no.
They'll be finished
When they're finished.
when they're finished.
And the worsted weight one, which is Pop Project, I have a plan for that one, but I'll obviously talk about that one on the Pop podcast.
I want to ask someone what's on their needles.
Cool.
The reason why I want to ask you what's on your needles is I don't know what a beard wife is. Do you know what a beard wife is?
A beard wife?
Yes.
No.
She's listed in, I can't remember if she listed this in her children or her pets. I think it was pets. She listed one beard wife. Now, I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued
I'm
myself.
intrigued as to know what this is. You see, I thought a beard wife might be a woman whose husband has a huge beard and he's
she's
very
like
proud of
a
it.
beard widow, I was thinking.
Yeah, and he spends all his time combing it and conditioning it.
It's not that.
Well, maybe it is.
Oh.
Maybe it is. Who knows? Who knows? But she's also in the Netherlands, and she watched the podcast. Obviously, that would be a bit crazy asking someone
It
who watches
would.
the needles who doesn't watch.
We don't know if she watches.
And a boyfriend, he crochets, weaves, and spins,
Wow.
but he doesn't knit.
Oh.
And one of the reasons they both sit and watch the podcast, and one of the reasons why she loves sitting and watching it with him is she's hoping to try and get him knitting.
Persuade him to get knitting.
So she might be using me as a tool. So who is this? She's in the Netherlands. And her name is Petra, and her Ravelry name is Undercover Otter. So Undercover Otter,
how cute.
what's on your needles?
I love otters.
Yeah,
They're
they're
one of
cool.
my favourite animals.
I love them especially when they stick their heads out and all the
Oh,
water
they're
like
so
comes
cute,
off
and
their-
I like it when they lie on their tummies and they've got they have clams, don't they? And they get
Oh, they
they get a rock
Yeah, and smash them.
and they smash them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, they're so
Like a
cute.
bit of seafood.
Well, I wouldn't eat the clams, but
Oh, I had clams, didn't I? No, it wasn't. What was
no,
that
what
in?
did you have?
That was it. Oh, that was really nice.
On holiday?
Chatsworth.
Yeah.
It
I
was
just
a
thinking of this.
bouillabaisse.
Oh yeah.
It was delicious.
It was also tiny.
It was, which was disappointing.
Like 2 spoonfuls and it's gone.
I mean, that was disappointing. But the taste.
Told you not to order.
Oh,
it.
honey. But the taste was lovely. It really was gorgeous. Petra, come and show us what's on your needles. And so glad you enjoy the podcast. I think we should go and finish off our journey into. Do you see what I've done there? Journey.
I get it.
Into the age of steam. So last time it was all about the tracks, the disused tracks and the stations. And everything was, as I'm sure you remember, all disused, long since rails got rid of. And we thought, given the weather, as we said at the start, and also the fact that there are 2 sides to this story, there's, the disused tracks, but of course, what about all the trains and all the things that used to run up and down those lines? And also, how did it all start? How did it all start, Kate?
Well, you'll find out.
You will find out. So let's go and find out. Welcome to Favourite Places to Knit. It's a very special episode, isn't it?
It is.
It's special because what was the weather doing, Bryony, earlier on?
It was raining.
It was raining extremely hard, and so we actually predicted this and we made a bit of a change, didn't we?
We did.
Where were we going?
We were going to go to Hard Draw Force.
and finish off our Robin
The
Hood.
Robin Hood, which we're going to do
Yeah, but in 2 or 3 episodes' time.
when the weather's hopefully, a crisper autumn day.
But thanks to all of you and all your lovely comments about the last episode where we focused on the age of steam, we thought we'd better do a part 2. And why should we do a part 2? Because we want to see some steam engines, don't we, Bryony?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to see some real trains. So we find ourselves stood here on a small subsidiary station like you'd find in any town all across the UK. Well, the reason why we find ourselves here is it was from right there, Bryony, from right there on that track, on that line, that the first ever passenger railway journey took place.
Yep.
It was on an autumn day, September the 25th, in 1825, the same year Nana Wendy was born. Isn't it, Bryony?
They don't actually know that.
It's not. Funnily enough, it's not. No, it was 1825 that George Stephenson fired up Locomotion 1, and there was 450 passengers all behind.
Gosh,
I know, how
And
amazing
they
is
were in
that?
open carriages, weren't they?
They were totally in open
Yeah.
carriages, so they're right on that platform right there. George Stephenson fired up Locomotion 1 and he set off on the very first journey. Now, he was led out from the station. He was led out that way. There was no line going that way. The line was all going that way, and they built the line specially, and they built the station, which we're going to show you in a minute especially. And they built it because they needed to pick up the line that was running from Bishop Auckland over to Stockton-on-Tees. And the reason why that line existed was because of coal. Now, it was a woolen merchant. A woolen merchant from town, Pease.
Yes.
Joseph
Pease.
No, it was his dad.
Oh, his dad. You
Joseph
did tell me
Pease's
that,
dad, who was a woolen merchant,
Yeah.
and he made lots of money through, creating woolen products and yarn and all sorts. He funded the development of the line, and the line was there for coal. So coal used to get mined in Bishop Auckland, and they needed to get it over to Stockton-on-Tees. And he met George Stephenson, and George Stephenson said, "I can build you a passenger railway," and so that railway was born. And there's a guy on a horse who led him out, and he said in Latin, he said in Latin. Now I can't remember what the Latin is. I did get it written down, but it's completely gone. And I learnt Latin when I was at school. But he carried a flag at the front, and it said, "The private danger for the public good." And what he meant was, we're private. It's a private organisation doing really daring things, but by doing this, we're going to change the world. And he led them out from the station. So after the man on the horse pulled away from Stephenson, he opened the taps on his engine and pulled straight down this line to Stockton-on-Tees and the river, which then took them out to the sea. Now, as he came down this line, they got up to what was at that time a dizzying speed of 15 miles an hour. So who was George Stephenson? Well, he was born in 1781 in Northumberland, slap bang in coal mining country. He was born to completely uneducated parents, and the first thing he did, he didn't go to school. The first thing he did as soon as he was old enough was get a job, and he got a job as an engine man at a coal mine. His job was to manually wind the engine that would lower the men down into the pit so they could get to the coal face, and also then to lift them back out of the coal face at the end of the day. Now, he was a very intelligent man, and he knew that if he was going to progress in the world, he was going to need to get educated. So he didn't earn very much, but he saved every penny that he could so that he could fund night school, and he studied arithmetic and writing and other things as well, so that he could get as educated as he possibly could. By the time he was 30, he was a very, very well-educated man, but still working in the pits. Unfortunately, by the time George was 30, he had a son, but he'd also lost a daughter, and he'd lost a wife to consumption. So he threw himself into his work. And George's big opportunity came when the engine broke down at the pit that he was working at around about his 30th birthday. He offered to repair that engine, and he repaired it to such a high standard that he was actually made the engine wright for all of the pits across the north of England. And from there, his story really starts to take flight.
Where there was coal, there was money. And George had the opportunity now to start innovating to make coal mining safer and more efficient. So he started trying to invent steam locomotives.
A few years later, he had a very fortunate meeting with Edward Pease, who'd just been given the rights by the government to build the line from Bishop Auckland across to Stockton. And so they built a factory in Newcastle upon Tyne, and they started to develop locomotives. You don't know how important this is.
No.
This is locomotion. Now, this was originally named Active, and this was made in Newcastle upon Tyne in the factory that George and Edward Pease had set up to build trains. That factory would actually go on to make some of the first trains that went out to America as well.
Right.
The pioneers of the American Railroad came over and spent time with George and his son Robert, so that they could learn how to make trains, and they actually took some back, as I say, with them. But Locomotion 1, it started 1821. They started work on this, and it took them 4 years to finish it. And literally, as soon as they finished it, they brought it straight down to this station. They stuck it on the platform that we saw outside, and its first run was the run that we've spoken about all the way across. So he would have stood up here. This is the actual train. He would have stood up here. George Stephenson. He fired up the engine, and off they went. Now, unfortunately, they made a few errors, and we spoke at the start of this film about how there was a guy on a horse saying the private danger for the public good. Well, 15 miles an hour at that time was extremely fast.
Yeah.
So that in itself, if you consider you stood up there surrounded by all the things and you fall off, you're in deep trouble. But more the concern was that these things had a tendency to explode. And explode is exactly what it did in 1828, killing its driver, John Cree. Now that could have been George Stephenson. So, you know, we think about it now, don't we? And we think, I mean, look at it, it's tiny and it's just going 15 miles an hour. They were risking their lives. As the locomotion steamed out of Darlington, whenever I say that, I want to break into song. It's Kylie. Or was it Kylie first of all? I don't think it was it? I think someone did it before Kylie. I can't remember.
Isn't it?
Everybody's doing a prayer. No, I won't sing. As the locomotion steamed out of Darlington, it was to go across a bridge that had just been built by a man with the coolest name ever, Ignatius Bonamy, I think was his name. And that bridge was not far from here at all. At that time, it was countryside, but now there's a scrapyard next to it, and the town has swallowed it up. So it's really difficult to get to. We'd love to have taken you there, but I just can't find a way to get there. You can see it though. You can see it because I'm going to throw up some pictures now, but also many of you may well have held a picture of this in your hand. This bridge was called Skerne Bridge, and it was immortalised in the early 1990s on the £5 note. George Stephenson on the back, along with Skerne Bridge and Locomotion 1 travelling over the top. And here is that Locomotion 1. And the picture, actually, just have a look here. This picture, I think, really, it sums it up, because there's Locomotion 1 at the front, and 450 people in these small carriages. That was a lot of carriages. I mean, it's an amazing thing. And this is depicted exactly as it was. You had people coming out in their droves to see this, because this was a stunning thing. No one had ever done this before. This was a steam-powered passenger railway. You know, people were used to travelling in horse and carts, and horses and walking and running. Absolutely amazing. I love this picture. This is the Derwent, and this was built, Kate, in 1845, and it was actually made by, as you can see there, A. Kitching in Darlington. Now, just like when Henry Ford invented the car, people very quickly were bringing out their own versions of steam trains. So this wasn't built by the Stephensons. And this was actually built, you know, near where the tip is, and there's that massive thing on the left-hand side. We always wondered what that was. Well, that's where this was made.
Right.
So there's a massive disused factory in town, and that's where they were making these trains. When the Monsell Trail lines first opened, these are the first types of trains that would have run down those lines. And then it's super cool, isn't it? I mean, you know, the brass, and it's just such a powerful thing, but no cab. As you can see there's no cab for the driver. So the driver would just be stood up there with the wind blowing in his hair. But of course, they weren't moving that fast.
No.
They were moving quicker than locomotion. They were moving probably 25 miles an hour.
Right.
So it's a good 10 miles an hour quicker. So this is the very first express train. This was built in 1885, and this would have been the type of train that you would have seen running up and down the Monsell Trail.
It's huge.
It is, it's really huge. Now, this was a groundbreaking train because this was the first time that people could get up and down the country at great speed. So you could move from one place to another really, really quickly. And of course, not just people, but goods as well. And it's the movement of goods and the development of trade that drove the development of all these trains. And look at that up there, it's amazing.
Harry Potter, isn't it?
It's really Harry Potter. I mean, it's just beautiful to look at. They're such stunning things. And I think one of the things that we've been lucky enough to do, we've only done it once, and it was very strange because the videos just disappeared. Do you remember when we went on that steam train?
Yeah.
Then I tried to import the videos onto the computer.
We must do that again.
I know. Travelling on a steam train, the
amazing.
energy and the smell,
It was
and
amazing.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just an amazing experience. So we've seen some of the locomotives, but how did people actually travel, the passengers? Here we have a third class carriage, and what's so interesting about this carriage is I was talking to my mum about when she used to travel by rail, because she actually travelled a lot by rail when she was young, just after the war, and she was telling us all about how in the third class carriages and even the second class carriages you couldn't get out, so once the train was moving you were stuck in there. So what would happen is when you got to a station, if you needed the loo, you would get off the carriage, you'd run to the loo, and then you'd hopefully get back in time to get back on the train. Quite regularly that wouldn't happen, you'd have to catch the next one. But here is a third class carriage, and I think there's some passengers on board. Should we go and have a little look? It's very dark in here, but I should be able to lighten it up. Oh, tickets please.
I don't have one. What happens?
Oh look, Bryony's got her ticket.
Oh, she has.
It's marvellous. There you go. I shall stamp your ticket. Now,
I'm in the third class carriage where I belong.
on the back right hand side of this carriage, supposedly there's a ghost that haunts. So it's back there on the right hand side.
Thank you for telling me that now.
And staff on a night regularly hear a child laughing
No.
and knocking coming from this carriage.
No way.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm sat in here.
Yeah, but it's back there on the right hand side.
Well,
That's where
Brian
they
just
normally.
sat.
Yeah, that's where they normally see a Victorian girl. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, don't sit there.
So this is how they would travel. I mean, I was just saying outside that Mum told us about how when she used to catch the train, and she was saying that time when she caught the train and it was a really, really long journey, and everyone used to like slump over on each other. And this lady said to Mum, "Look, there you go. You can put your head on my thigh if you like and go to sleep."
A complete stranger?
Yeah.
Gosh.
She's telling us that story at Chatsworth.
Right.
It's really interesting. So this is a third class wooden carriage.
Wooden.
It's a station. It needs a loo, and there's some Victorian loos here. Kay's inside, she's going to show us around. Let's go in and find her. I love the flooring actually, it's beautiful flooring. I have to ask her what this is called. What's this type of flooring called, Kay? Quarry tile flooring. Show us what you found, girls.
We're in the men's loo. This was built in, I think it's in 1873, and it was actually in use until the 1960s.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? So there's a whole host of men's urinals, which is rather lovely. And then there's toilets down here.
Someone's not flushed.
They're not in use anymore.
Take a look.
So look at the name of the person who invented it, which is Brian is finding absolutely hilarious.
So you've got 6 cubicles.
6 cubicles and all of those urinals. You don't get that these days, do
No.
you?
I like a bit of
how
privacy.
It says exhibit only, not for public use. That's really
And this must
funny.
have been the attendant.
That must have been the attendant's little office.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
lovely,
yeah.
isn't it? Nice
I mean, it's actually really nice.
It's very pleasant.
Do you know what this is reminiscent of?
It's-
Roman bathhouses.
But also Harry Potter. I'm
Yeah.
getting a Harry Potter vibe
Very
from
much.
the whole place, to be honest.
It's amazing.
Brian is having a wee round now.
So we always enjoy showing you toilets. We've shown you Roman toilets,
Yeah.
and now we've shown you Victorian toilets. And we showed castle toilets as well when we went to Broome Castle.
Yeah.
So you know what you're going to get on the Bakery Bears podcast when we're out and about. As you walk by this amazing innovation, locomotion, built by George Stephenson in 1825, it just makes you stop and think, what happened to the man after all of this happened? Well, He obviously went on to have a massively successful career within railroad. He advised the American pioneers, and he worked with many of the railroad companies across Britain as they used his standard gauge to link up all those lines and to enable national travel. But as he got older, he married again, and he actually lost his second wife, and then he married a third time. He lived in Tapton House in Chesterfield in his retirement. And Tapton House in Chesterfield is not far at all from Chatsworth. And he got obsessed with gardening. He used to love flowers from exotic countries. So he would build hot houses using all the skills he'd learned in creating steam. It was obviously a very easy thing for him to do, to create a hothouse. So he would create a hothouse and he'd try and grow amazing flowers and he'd take them to shows. Now, stood here in this amazing museum that hardly anyone ever comes to see, you do feel slightly sad for this bygone era of steam. But if you think about what this empowered and what this led to the development of the car, to the development of the diesel train, the electric train, and really every way that we now travel today. Think back to that day on the 25th of September in 1825, and thanks to George Stephenson, we can all now travel across the world in the ways that we've come to know and love.
Oh, that was fun. Wasn't that fun? That was interesting.
Did it?
It's very different.
I copied you.
Yeah. There's different to previous favourite places in it, and I really hope you enjoyed it. It was really different. Kay's trying something very new. It's a different what's in your sweetie jar, because actually this has never been in our sweetie jar before, and you'll find out why it is in a minute. But yeah, it's a favourite place in it. It's very different to any that we've done before. And as we've said a couple of times now, it's very much forced on us with the weather, but I really hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that then sort of finishes off the story of steam engines. The next favourite places to knit, you're going to absolutely love. It's not next episode, it's episode 39. And episode 39, we'll all be getting ready for Christmas. Because that will be in December. So we're taking you to a place called Kipling Hall, aren't we?
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
So proper.
Oh, you'll love it.
You will love it. It's a stately home, but it's a small stately home.
One.
It's reminiscent of Markington Hall, which we've already taken you to, but different.
It's not as old as Markington.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't know a lot about it at the moment.
No, but I'm sure it's not as old as
I do know about the lady who lived there a little bit because we've been before and we've read about it, but you know the history of the place, I don't know anything, and this is when I get so excited because I'm going to learn about it, and then we'll all learn about it together. But it's going to be proper Christmassy.
But at Christmas they just have like only a couple of weekends through December. They deck all the house out, and they have the children. They have like a Christmas trail, don't they?
Yeah.
And
We've
then
never been before. I wouldn't know.
we have. We went to Christmas, yes.
Oh, okay.
It's probably 3 years ago, maybe.
Right.
And also, they have at a certain time in the afternoon, they have Christmas carols in the library, and we'll be there. It's really lovely. And then they also do like a Christmas market, Christmas fair thing in the outbuildings, in like the stable buildings.
Cool. So yeah, that's the next favourite places to knit, and that is coming in episode 39. So now it's time for what's in your sweetie jar.
Oh, that's yummy.
And Kate, what is in your sweetie jar?
Well, what was just in my mouth and in my sweetie jar, I picked these.
I'll have one while you're.
I picked these up at the Railway Museum, but you can get them. I'll show you. It's Farrah's original Harrogate toffee, and obviously it's a shop in Harrogate from where we used to live, and a very famous toffee shop. And I did go in it one time when we lived there. Beautiful shop, really old-fashioned looking. And I bought this for two reasons. One is I really wanted the tin. I love the tin. I think it's so nice, and it'd be great, for putting little knitty things in or sewing things. But also, I thought we could show everybody on the podcast as well, because
we just took you back
1840
over the last 2 episodes to
Yeah.
the age of steam. So imagine you're going on your long steam journey. You're sat in the carriage with your head on a strange lady's thigh. That's how I always like to travel. You need something to keep you going, because there's no person coming down with a trolley, because there's no way to come down each carriage, because each carriage is separate. So as you get on the train, you stop in the shop, and you get some of these.
You get some toffees.
1840 this company was formed, and you might be thinking, oh, but the sweets will be different back then. Oh no, this is the same recipe, and they still use the same copper
It's
vats.
made to the original recipe in copper pans in East Yorkshire.
So it's made in the same place, in the same pans, with the same ingredients.
And it really is not like a toffee that you will know as a toffee now. It's not, toffees are chewy and soft.
Forget the butterscotch, that tastes of barley sugar and lemon.
Yeah, I mean, it says on the back it's similar to both a butterscotch and a barley sugar with a hint of lemon. It is exactly like that. When you first put it in your mouth, I got lemon straight away.
I don't get any butterscotch though.
The butterscotch is the toffee sort of flavour. I did get that.
That, to me, I just get barley sugar and lemon.
Well, you chewed it, didn't you? I was sucking that and I got a different taste, so maybe that's what you need to do. Yeah, there's very few ingredients in there as well, and there's no, E numbers or anything like that. It's all kind of natural ingredients. So really worth a try. If you ever visit Harrogate, people in this country, I know it's a very big tourist town, pop in and get some of these. They're definitely worth a try. Very nice.
Now witness the power of this fully operational salted caramel chocolate.
Is that a Muppet?
It's the Emperor.
Sounded like a Muppet.
So yeah, this is a chocolate salted caramel that Kay bought me, because I'm properly into chocolate salted caramel in ice cream at the moment. And she bought me these at the weekend. And as soon as I got it out, because obviously that's where it's been sat when it's been made and it's set, and it just totally looks like the Death Star, and even the colouring on it is sort of metallic. Have you tried one?
No,
What
I'm
did you
not. I
try?
can't eat chocolate at the moment. It doesn't suit my stomach.
It's really nice. These are Sainsbury's Belgian chocolate salted caramels, and there's not too much salt in there.
Right. It was in the sort of, they've got all the Christmassy chocolates out, and it was in the Christmas section.
For Christmas, I mean, for any time if you meet, I was never a chocolate lover, and then after all my treatment and things, it was November. Was it November last year? You bought that tray of chocolates.
Yeah.
It was right when I was just starting to get my appetite back, and I needed bulking up because I got silly light, didn't I? So Kay kept buying me chocolates. That first packet, it wasn't the mint ones. It was something different.
It wasn't Thornton's.
I think it was a Thornton's.
I think it was Thornton's.
A pack of Thornton's. And I remember crumbs. I ate them in about a second. And that then got us into the mint ones.
I love mint chocolate.
Yeah.
It's just lovely, isn't it?
We got the Thornton's mint ones.
Yeah.
And that's just started. And I've never had a love of chocolate in my life. It started this massive love of chocolate. And I properly get, like, if I'm in the mood for ice cream and I get some chocolate ice cream
You
out.
should see him. It's terrible.
It's really bad. I'm just like...
Do not go near the ice cream when he's,
She bought me these, and they are absolutely lovely. So if you're looking for a nice chocolate at Christmas, this is the one for you, I guarantee it.
Get some more for your stocking.
If you've not tried salted... actually, Kate, I'll tell you what I would like in my stocking. Just maybe 3 or 4 of the chocolates from our favourite.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So... definitely worth a go, and if you've not tried salted caramel, definitely try it, because it really does work. So long as there's not too much salt in it, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's time to find out, Kay Jones, what's off your needles?
I'll stop mid-row, which I can do.
Yes,
I'm a sophisticated knitter.
sophisticated lady.
Guess what?
What?
We both have 2 finished objects.
That's shocking.
This has never happened.
We can totally bring in the elf quotes. That's permission now.
Can I just also say I am really not enjoying the dark nights, the change in the clocks. It normally doesn't bother me, but this year, I am really disliking it. I don't know why. But my first finished object is I finished a pair of socks.
They look like refreshers?
It's these ones. Do you remember them? I'm sure you all do remember. It's the Fortissima Mexico cotton stretch, and the colour is Batik, B-A-T-I-K. I just decided one day, not this week, last week, I just needed to finish these. I'd started them when we went away on holiday, and that was the beginning of August, and I was just kind of sick of seeing them, really. So I just thought, you know what, I am just going to get those done. So I did. I finished. Lovely. And I have, someone, Sue, no it wasn't, it was Kasnitz, asked me what they were like to wear, and I don't know yet. I said to her, I've not worn them yet. I like to keep them nice to show on the podcast first. But I tried them on afterwards, you know, and they felt okay. So I can't see it being a problem. But I think they came out really pretty, didn't they? Really nice. So that's my first one.
Were they the ones that I called you refreshers?
Yeah, they do look like a packet of refreshers, don't they?
Suddenly I thought, I said that and I thought, oh crumbs, no, that was a different pair ages ago.
Yeah.
But that is this pair.
I wasn't bothered about, in fact I deliberately didn't match them. I wound off a little bit of yarn so that they were unmatching enough to be different, if you know what I mean. I didn't want them just not matching a little bit. And I also wound off an extra little ball to do the heels because I wanted to maintain the stripes down the front, which I think works really well.
Cool, you've not done that before, have you?
I
don't recall seeing a striped heel.
No.
No.
Yeah, so I like those.
And have you tried them on?
Yes.
And do they fit just the same as all your other ones? Because
They're
one
very
leg looks slightly longer than the other. Or is it one blocker slightly bigger than the other?
Maybe it is.
It does look slightly bigger, doesn't it?
They're saying though, look.
Yeah. But they're lovely.
Because I count rows, so, you know, and your gauge obviously is going to be a bit different. But
Yeah.
So that's my first one, and then should we do yours?
Well, you set those up.
All right.
See if you can do it off camera. No, it's fine. It's
The
fine.
pressure.
The pressure's on.
I'm going to go under the table.
So here's what's off my needles. It's the Violet Waffles hat in fondant fibre yarn. And I just cast this off last night. I was frantically stitching away until about 11:15. And yeah, it must have taken me 20 minutes.
Try it on, because you were worried it was too small.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because on the pattern it does say it needs something like heavy blocking is the words it uses.
Right.
It really stresses the fact it needs a damn good block. It fits.
I think it's
It totally
fine.
fits.
But I do think a nice soak will just relax Dan's massively tight. But I think it's nice. What do you think?
It's beautiful.
It's lovely. Look.
Really suits you, and it covers
Look
your
at
ear.
Look at the yarn.
It's
Isn't it
stunning.
gorgeous?
It's absolutely gorgeous.
So we're going to wash this, and then it's going away as a Christmas present for me, isn't it?
Yes. When you said going away, I was worried then. I think what I find really intriguing actually about this is how the pattern works. Because when you read the pattern, to me, my stupid thick male brain, I couldn't work out how the pattern was going to flow on up, reading, you know, how the stitches were working. But it totally does. I mean, it totally does. It looks so cool. And the top as well. The last time I did a top, it properly puckered up, didn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas that one, that's nice.
Really nice.
That's bang on. And I totally enjoyed it. You know, it was late. I probably was a bit tired and had enough. But actually, I thoroughly enjoyed the sort of challenge of weaving in those ends and making it look brilliant. There you go, look, it's a bowl.
That was insane.
I love that. Oh, look at it.
It's cool.
Yeah. What a lovely project and a lovely hat. And that's my first bit of Christmas knitting. What else is off your needles?
Oh, now. I hadn't even started this last time, and I finished it. So this is something that wasn't even a thought. But we've just recently done another series of tutorials for our patrons.
Did you know, Kay, that when these tutorials for these gloves are fully uploaded, you will have completed over 50 tutorials?
Really? Gosh, can't
I mean,
believe that.
I couldn't believe it. And when you look at the diversity now of tutorials that are there, you know, from beginner sock knitter to you know, DPN sock knitter.
There's a lot, yeah. There's a lot of series, isn't there,
Yes.
knit an actual project. But then there's also
Specials.
casting on, weaving in ends, all things like that. Where it's
Mitered square blanket's been a real popular one.
Mitered
We did a
square
special on
blanket,
that.
yeah.
But we've planned. No, we did a series on that.
Yeah.
But you've got a granny square blanket
I'm
series
going to do,
upcoming.
yeah, do you know the crocheted granny square blanket? I know I did do a little tutorial for that within this podcast way back. But I'm going to do Patron tutorial for the granny square blanket as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make one. I don't know if I can get it done before Christmas, but I wanted to make one that's a toy sized blanket for Bryony for her toys. And then that way, I've got something at the end of it, and I will have demonstrated how to do it all. So.
What I love about your tutorials is the feedback that we get from people.
I know,
and that is,
I know,
there's two types of feedback. There's the feedback from the beginner knitter, and I'm sure Bob Wilson won't mind me mentioning. She sent some amazing feedback the other day. She's obviously the crochet queen, and she was saying how much we'd inspired her to knit, and she said some wonderful things from a beginner knitter point of view.
Yeah.
But then also we get lovely comments from well-established knitters who say it's absolutely wonderful to have this as a reference, but also the little tips and tricks. And I said this to Kay the other day, as my knowledge has increased, and this is something that you do all the time, and I think all of us do, you will do exactly the same thing. Because you have the knowledge, you don't fully value it because you have that knowledge. So you just think, I know that. So you don't think it's worth anything. I'm in the immensely privileged position of getting to film and learn. And the little things that she does and teaches is immense. And how lucky am I that I get to stand there in the flesh and learn all these things. And it's so interesting how my approach to the production of these has changed from when we started, when I was, still very much I'm still a beginner knitter. But now my understanding has increased. Now she'll say things and I'm like, ooh. And I've now found myself actually speaking out loud sometimes by accident. You'll go, and I'll go, ooh, and then, oh dear, I'll have to cut that bit out.
But I think everybody seems to like that thing as well, where I do it very casually. It's not a formal, it's not like I don't know quite how to word this, but it is very just as if I'm sat with you in the room and I'm showing you how to do it. It's not like I'm teaching a class or anything like that.
No.
So yeah,
it's personalised one-to-one tuition.
I guess,
and it's just brilliant, and
it's fun because we knit things, we knit projects, and I think people also enjoy having this finished item at the end of it, and you've learned a lot from doing it.
Yeah.
Which I think is it's a nice way of learning.
Yeah.
So what I've finished is look. Oh, a pair of mittens. These are actually for Bryony, so they're a tiny bit short on my hands because I did them for her and her hands are a little bit shorter. But this pattern is a free pattern on Ravelry and it's called Basic Mittens for Children, I think, by Elizabeth Durand, Durand. I've knit them twice before actually. I've knit a smaller size for Bryony a couple of years ago and then I knit myself a pair last year. The largest size is actually, it says it's for an 8-year stroke small ladies size, and they fit me absolutely fine and I do have relatively small hands, I suppose. The yarn I used I think is just what makes the project. Look at the yarn. It's beautiful. It's Erica's yarn. It's Dreams in Fibre and it's a merino worsted and the colourway is Alana, Alanna. And it's just this tonal lavenders and brown, just really, really pretty.
Okay, what's the colourway?
Alana.
How much did they cost?
I don't get it.
How did they cost?
Oh, right, okay.
Sorry.
How very random he is. You see, I would say Dacos, but a lot of people call her Dacos.
Oh, sorry.
No, I think it's Dacos. I would never say Dacos.
Right.
Alana Dacos, I would say. I don't think Alana watches, but so yeah, and
I don't know who she is.
she's a really big designer.
Okay, sorry. So I've successfully managed to offend Stephen West and Alana Dacos
in one episode. Well done.
Sorry. Now I know.
It's such a fantastic project, mittens. I think I knit these in. Effectively, it was 2 days. I knit these. You can knit one day, one the next. You could, if you were really pushed for time. If you were really pushed for a gift, and you had a day to knit something, you could totally knit a pair in a day. Really quick. And I knit them on DPNs, and just loved the whole experience. It's just such a fun thing, and a lot of. The thing that people were interested in is the thumb gusset and picking up of stitches, and I don't actually I didn't get any holes on this occasion, and it must be how I've picked up the stitches, the way that I've done it. So yeah, pleased with those. Love them. Look,
Cool. We need mitten blockers.
We do. I was just thinking that.
What else is off my needles? It's these.
Yay!
Look at those. There are my first pair of nearly self-contained socks. The first sock, if you remember, I did need... what did you do on the first sock? You might have even cast the first one on.
I did cast it on, didn't I? And I did the heel turn for you on the first... No, you didn't. No, you did it.
No.
You did it. All I did was cast on one of them.
So Kay cast on one, and I wonder why you would cast it on. But because it was that long ago, I hadn't nailed the cast on thing.
Yeah.
So Kay cast on one, and then on the second one, it was when I was rechanging the starting point that I just got a bit confused that Kay helped me on the second one. But I've obviously cast on a new pair that are different because I'm doing the twisted rib at the top, which I'm really loving, and that's exciting. It's going to be exciting to see the difference. But yeah, I've cast on that new pair. So this new pair I will finish self-contained. But yes, there they are, and they will always be my first proper attempt at socks, all on my own.
And they came out lovely, and they do fit. They are a bit snug, but they will stretch up over with wear.
Maybe I should wear them a couple of days, and then
you wouldn't get them on your big toe. But I'm sure as soon as I wear them,
great. I love it. If you haven't knit a sock, seriously, it's the business.
Yeah.
And you should give it a go. That is all of what's off our needles. It's time for me to ask someone what's off their needles. She takes her knitting everywhere, even to her friend's house. So she goes round to her friends for a cup of tea and to see them, and she goes in, sits down, and gets out her knitting.
Why not?
Have you ever done that? You go around to see some?
No, because there's no reason why you couldn't, because I think what people don't realise who aren't knitters is that we can knit and still hold a conversation at the same time, because that's what we do with you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're going to be completely knitting the whole time. You'll look up and you'll chat and you'll knit. I don't think people get that.
Unless you're doing brioche.
I think a lot of people think it's rude, don't they, to sit there and knit.
I do
think that's what non-knitters kind of
maybe
think, though.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, if it was me, if that happened, I would just think there was the cutest person ever who'd come round and got their knitting out and just got knitting. I think that's so cool. She lives in Columbus. She listens. She normally listens to our podcast at work.
Right.
So she'll have it on the background.
Cool.
And she's just sort of...
So she's now just jumped 10 feet in the air.
Yeah, which would be so cool. It'd be so cool. She's just taken the plunge recently and just come and introduced herself on the Welcome to the Bakery thread. If you haven't come and said hello, please do come and say hello, because we love meeting people, and I do reply to everybody.
Dan does do
it
that.
It does
He's
take
very
time.
good.
It's normally a 2 to 3 week flow through.
I do leave that all to you, so thank you for doing that.
And my replies are never just hi, thanks for dropping in. We love finding out about you, so we always take a bit of time to find out about who's coming and say hi and start a bit of a conversation. It's one of the things that we really enjoy. So anyway, I want to know, because if she's knitting everywhere, it must be great projects. And she thinks about it all the time, so I'm intrigued now as to know. Knit code. What's off your needles? And her name is Jamie.
Jamie.
So Jamie,
I want you to, if you're at work now, Jamie, I want you to jump up and go, yes, that's me.
So come and share in the What's Off Your Needles thread. Come and show us what you've just finished knitting at your friend's house. So thanks so much for saying hello and for watching. There's no What's on Your Stereo. In fact, that might be the last What's on Your Stereo, because I think that we're getting close to What's on Your Christmas TV time.
Oh, right. Not last one ever. This year, you mean?
Yeah,
Right.
just for a little bit. I think I said before that we would do a few What's on Your Stereo, which we have, and then we would get warmed up ready for What's on Your Christmas TV.
Oh, I can't wait to get this.
We were only
Christmas.
talking about that actually the other day on.
And I haven't watched any Christmas films yet this year, and it's November the 11th.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
That's
I feel
funny.
the need.
They'd be like,
It's
I reckon
November the 11th.
95% of the
Denise.
people sat out there.
Denise Knitting Den has had Christmas music on and everything.
Crumbs.
I'm
So,
with
maybe
you,
I'm wrong.
Denise.
Hey,
Let's get it on.
I'm as Christmassy as the next person, but I don't think you should worry that you've not
I'm not worried.
watched any Christmas
I didn't
films.
say I was worried, did I?
She did.
I've not spoke about this on this podcast. I have mentioned it on the podcast. But back in April, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. A lot of you will know this already, but a lot of you won't know this. And I've never spoke about it just because it upset me so much at the time and all through the summer. He was really, really, really poorly all through the summer. And he's 82. You know, and it was in his voice box and in his lungs. And he had radiotherapy through the summer. And like I said, he was really, really, really poorly. And he got through it. And he actually had a checkup day before yesterday with his oncologist. And the radiotherapy has eradicated the cancer from his voice box. And the tumour in his lung hasn't grown any since April. So the oncologist was thrilled, really. You know, at his stage in life and, you know, where he was a few months ago. He still has oxygen at home, but he's, all things considered, he's doing pretty well. And I only haven't mentioned it just because it was just such, as you can imagine, so soon after Dan. I cannot believe it. You know, I sat there when my sister first rang me and just went, I cannot believe that, you know, I'm going through this again just a few months after, you know. Ugh. So anyway, he's doing pretty well. So that just seemed a good point just to mention that, because it's something that's just been going on the past few months. So, indie bits.
Yes.
I've got lots. No, last time we had none.
Yes.
But I know I will zip through them. I know.
Well, don't zip too fast because this.
I won't zip too fast. Now, the first thing, this is very, very, in fact, it's all exciting. But the first thing I'm going to do is the prize draw.
Oh, that was too much.
That was a bit much. The prize draw for the Duchess of Devonshire Knit-along. Yay! We had 44 finished objects in the. Absolutely
Well done,
fantastic.
everybody.
And they were all absolutely beautiful.
43 of them were Sarah Hepworth's, and Kay's was the other.
Sarah. I love you, Sarah.
She's amazing.
She is amazing and a complete inspiration to me, honestly, Sarah, I can't tell you. So, I've pre-drawn these and Dan was there when I randomly drew them, so it's all above board.
She tried to fix it, but I told her, you're not drawing it again.
I did not. So it was numbers 2 to 45. And actually I've got 2 prizes. As you know, I've sewn up a bag and I should show it, shouldn't I? I picked up a tea towel. This is quite an epic bag, actually. I picked up a tea towel at Chatsworth, as I said I was going to do, and I've sewn it into a really lovely bag. So that's the front, and then the pattern continues over on the back. This is I would say Georgiana, but it's actually Georgiana, I think is how it's pronounced. And there's lovely Chatsworth. And it's a really good sized bag. I would say it's a sweater size, really. And I've lined it with, it's Kona cotton in a kind of matching. And it's got a lovely squared off base. So fantastic size for, definitely you could get a sweater in there. So that's what I've made. And then also, lovely Mina, I ordered a bag from Mina, the one I showed you earlier, and she sent an extra bag for Dan.
Lovely, thank you so much, Mina. That was my
How
birthday
cute.
present. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I was banned from putting anything in it until she'd shown it to
Yeah.
you.
So that's all lovely, and he can have that now, Mina. I'll let him have it. And then she also sent a bag to give away, and I haven't unwrapped it because she's wrapped it so prettily. But you can see through it, and you can see it's a Christmas bag with little cute Santas on. So we've got that as well. I drew for this one first.
Who's the winner?
For the Mina one first, and it's number 10, and that was Gisela. I want to say that.
Yeah, I know.
in a sort of Portuguese. She's from Portugal.
Yeah.
I want to say it in a Portuguese accent, but I can't do a Portuguese accent. You win, Gisela. You win the lovely Mina Makes bag.
Nice.
So would you send me your address on Ravelry? Just PM me your address and I'll get that sent off to you. I don't think I've ever posted anything to Portugal before. I don't know if I have.
No.
Very exciting. And then the winner of the lovely Chatsworth bag. And that was entry number 15. And number 15 is Julie from Newcastle.
Amazing.
It's just up the road. This never happens. You know, it's usually someone in America or Canada or Australia. And Julie knit a beautiful 2-colour version of the shawl, and it was like a dark grey and a light grey. And lovely Gisela, hers was really beautiful. It's pale blue with a white border. Absolutely gorgeous. So anyway, Julie in Newcastle, PM me your address and I will get this sent off to you.
Beautiful.
So, yay, thank you all so much for participating in that. It was such fun to see all the gorgeous shawls. And Ferran Merino.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you knit an absolutely gorgeous one. I think you said it was for your mum, did you say that? In Madeline Tosh. And was it Dirty Panther? Dark Panther? No, it might have been Dirty Panther, the colourway. But it was really beautiful. I loved that one too. So thank you all for that. Fabulously fun knit along. So you two lovely winners, send me your addresses. So that's the first thing. The next exciting thing, shall I do that? Yes. I'm going to do something really, really exciting.
Yes.
And I hope this will be super fun. And I thought about this a few months ago. I spoke about this on our pop podcast, and all of the patrons that sort of commented on it thought it was a really great idea, so hopefully you all will. I did think about this a few months ago, but it wasn't quite the right time for me to do it, and then as I was sewing the other day, I thought it suddenly popped in my head again. I thought, oh gosh, do you know what, this is now the right time of year. I'm going to do a bag club, and it's going to be a 3-month bag club, and basically how it will work is I'm just going to do 10 slots initially, because I want to trial it and just work out the logistics of it. So I don't want to
see if it's feasible to do longer term.
Yeah. So I'm just going to do 10 slots initially. On the 5th of December, I'm going to put up 10 slots in my Etsy shop. I'll tell you the time nearer the time. It'll be a pre-order basis. And what you will get I've worked out the dates and everything just so I could let you know, on the 8th of January, the 1st of February and the 1st of March, I will ship out a bag for you. When I say a bag, what it will be, the first bag will be a sock wedge. I've got the size here actually. This is just one that will be going in the shop this week, but it'll be this size wedge will be the first one. You will get small wedge plus a DPN holder plus some other goodies. Bag 2 will be a larger shawl size. I call it my shawl size. It's like a medium-sized bag. You will get a medium-sized bag with a coaster. I'm going to sew a little matching coaster for you all, plus some other goodies. Bag 3 will be a large wedge with a matching small notions pouch, plus again some other little goodies. So that's the 3 bags you will get. And I'm going to theme it, and my first theme is going to be all things British. So either the fabric will have a British look, or it will be a British designer that designed the fabric. And the little goodies that I put in extra will also be themed along that line as well. That's basically how it's going to run. It will be super fun. I've already been sourcing the fabrics and
you're going to
thinking about
do a Ravelry thread. The Ravelry thread will be live today, won't it?
Yes, I'll open a Ravelry thread just so you can all read how it's going to work, because I know that's probably a lot of information for you all just to take in and remember. So I will open a Ravelry thread just purely with the information I've just told you, just so that if you want to go and read it and just absorb it and just decide if it's something you want to do. Yeah, so 5th of December I'll put up 10 slots and I'll just see how it goes, and if this goes well, then it seemed a good time to do it because I wanted it to start at the beginning of the year. So
It's
that,
new for 2016.
yeah, so that if I then wanted to continue it through the year, effectively I'll be able to do this 4 times through the year. You know, with a different theme each time and different goodies inside there. And I just think it's just a fun thing for me to do as well, and just to...
Well, it enables you to flex your muscles a bit more with
Yeah.
regards to the design of it.
the design of it, and, you know, just...
Some exclusive, you know, it's an exclusive thing, isn't it?
choosing fabrics and deciding what extra things go in there and just making it exciting for you all and for me to do as well. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
We're all excited about this.
Are you excited about that? I hope so.
And this fits very nicely with a very quick update as well that we'll give you with regards to our Patreon campaigns. The reason why Kay has been able to, you know, think about and do things like this is because we got through milestone 1, and that's given us that little bit more breathing room with regards to, you know, the creative side of what we're doing. But I think it's really important that you guys know what's coming next and what the plans are next. And so we're through milestone 1, so thank you so much to all the patrons who've got us through that. You've shown us now that we have a future doing this, and we're excited now, super excited now in fact, at what the future's going to bring, because the plans are just epic. I won't go into too much detail, but I just think it's important that you know what we're doing. Milestone 2, which is not far away at all. I think we're only $800 from milestone 2. Milestone 2 is about a website.
Yeah.
The idea is when we hit milestone 2 is we will, as quickly as we can after that, launch a Bakery Bears website. The Bakery Bears website will have login areas for the patrons. And you will log into the site just like you do on Ravelry, and then you will be able to see all the things all in one place that come with being a $2 or a $5 or a $10 or a $25 patron. So there'll be the tutorials there, there'll be the behind the scenes and the book clubs and the pops, but the shop, and there'll be all sorts. So a website is a big thing for us, and I think it'll make the whole thing for all of you as well much more enjoyable. We also want to now we've gone to iTunes.
Yes.
And I didn't mention that last time.
No.
And it's the first time I think I've actually said it on a podcast. You can now watch the show
We are on iTunes.
and on Podbean if you are not an Apple user. What you have to do is you have to compress the podcast to get it up onto iTunes and onto Podbean. I can't put it out in the same quality as on YouTube. So YouTube will always be the best place to watch it in like crisp HD. But what we can do is we can make the compression process better. To do that, we need to invest in some more equipment, and that will be another thing that we'll do on milestone 2. So we'll improve the compression, in essence make the production better, so what you're watching if you download is even better. But milestone 3 is when it starts to get really exciting, and that's not really that much further on from milestone 2. Milestone 3 is all about collaborative working with other podcasters, and we're actually starting to dip our toe in the water with that already, with what we're doing with the Sockmatician, which we're so excited about. Next episode, so don't miss that, Knittle Forfeit. And also, we want to potentially look at doing new shows. So creating like a channel. I mean, I would just love to do that. You know, it might be a year in the future. Who knows? You know, it depends on when we hit these milestones. But how cool would it be if we could produce? We certainly wouldn't be presenting all of them, because that's not what you want to see. You want to see a diverse collection of people, don't you? You know, presenting different shows, but all with the feel of what we've done. So Bakery Bears produced podcasts, but we would do another show. And that show is the one that we've promised from day 1 of our Patreon campaign, and that is where my lovely wife and I would go over the course of the year. We go on 12 walks, and those 12 walks would be through something really exciting and historical, and on that walk we would take on knitting. So some way along in a lovely view where we can talk about what we're looking at, but also talk about our projects.
It sounds lovely. I want to go
sit and do some
now.
knitting, but also we can take you to some places which it's impossible for us to get to on our favourite place to knit. Favourite place to knit is really about being able to drive to somewhere, maybe walk a little bit and then get on with it. But these are the places which maybe Jervo, for example. There's the most stunning walk around Jervo where I can take you through the history of that whole area, which is so exciting. but it's impossible to do in our favourite places to knit. That's what we would do in a new podcast that we would launch when we hit milestone 3. So the plans are huge. A channel of programmes that we would broadcast, collaborative work with other podcasters, production of whole new shows, new podcasts from us, but a website, improved production. We even spoke about potentially getting a better way of filming, a better camera. But we'll see. The great thing is that we talk to our patrons about what you guys want as well. So whatever we do, it's done. We just want to produce the type of things you want to watch, that we want to watch as knitters.
And this just seems a good time to mention that I am working on the little packages we're sending out to the $25 patrons that we've mentioned previously.
They know it's not till January.
It will be January, but I've got the things that I need to produce this little package. So I'll be working on that through December. So it will be out by the end of January. You will all get them shipped out. So I just wanted to mention that I am on it.
I think in summary, with regards to our patrons and Patreon, if you enjoy watching the podcast, if you like what we've done this year, please come and support us. Someone emailed me this week and they said, when I consider the amount of money that I spend on cable with a range of programmes and channels I never even watch, coming and supporting you is an absolute no-brainer, because I get to watch something that I really want to watch and that I engage with. Well, if we were to get, like we said at the start of the Patreon campaign, if we were to get half the people who regularly view the show sign up as patrons, we could launch a channel. We could be putting out a range of shows, and that to me is super exciting. What it made me think of was, you look at cable channels, you look at Sky TV in this country, the amount of money that is. So they charge you to watch it, and then they sell advertising space.
Yeah.
It's a money-making racket.
Yeah. Well, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
One of the things that was most important to us was, at no point will you ever see on anything we put out any advertising.
No.
That's not what we're about. We're about giving you, proper, honest television.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Cool.
Bakery Best Productions, baby.
Yes.
More indie bits, please.
Okay. Right. Yes. Something else very exciting. Sorry.
Oh, that was great.
Do you know how we've all got, or not we've all got, quite a lot of us have got the Opal Advent Calendar cubes that I've shown you before with the mini skeins in. Plus, also, there are a few other yarn dyers out there that have done a similar sort of thing where they've done Advent mini skeins. I thought it might be fun. I'm going to do this. If you want to join in, then please go ahead and join in. This is just completely for fun, no prizes or anything like that. But what I'm going to do, starting the 1st of December, running through to the 24th, like an Advent calendar, I'm going to work on my blanket squares each day. And each time I open a little door from the Opal calendar, I'll post a picture and I'll chat about it or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'll open a thread on Ravelry. It'll just work through the thread on Ravelry, and also there's going to be a hashtag on Instagram. So there'll be 2 places you can post it, and we're going to call it on Instagram, it'll be BB Adventalong, hashtag BB Adventalong. So I will probably post an entry on Instagram for when this podcast comes up. So if you search that hashtag, I'll put the details on there. And then also I'll open a thread as well, just saying what I'm going to do.
We did have fun coming up with a name.
We did. I was like, what should I call it? And I went, Blanket Vent.
I said that sounds like some new innovation in duvets.
A blanket vent, because Advent, blanket... That didn't sound
I like
right.
mine best, Bladvent.
Bladvent, he said. I'm like, what? It sounds like vampire-ish, that, a Bladvent. So then we decided, no, let's go with BB Adventalong, all one word, all lowercase. I will do it. So running on from that, you all know I'd got the Opal Cube Advent calendar. I got, was it last week? Yes, I've mentioned before, I got this amazing parcel from Amber, and she sent me the minis that I've already mentioned. She also sent me this. Well, she sent me there was 2 other things that I need to show you. The first thing was she sent me a whole skein. And I've never used this dyer, and I was like, I squealed. when I opened this. She sent me some white birch fibre arts, and look at the colours. You can imagine my reaction to these colours. Isn't it gorgeous? And I love what the tag says. Friends don't let friends craft with insipid yarn. It says on the tag. Isn't that fantastic? And the colourway is called Umbrella Drinks Forever. Yeah, I agree with that. So she sent me that fantastic skein, and I'm resisting the temptation to break into it just to put it into my blankets. I can't do that. I've got to knit something with it first. So there was that. And then she sent me this. This is still in the box she sent me. I was literally speechless when I opened this. And look what it is. It is Desert Vista Dye Works, the 12 Stripes of Christmas. And that's the card you get with it. And it's basically, you know the on the 12th day of Christmas, Machulo sent to me that whole. Is that a song? Is it a? It is a song, yeah. She's look. I'll tip it so that you can see it. Sorry, darling. There we go. I'll hold it close so you can see. I nearly bashed you in the face with the box.
Oh, gosh.
Look how fantastic it is. And the idea is that you knit socks with it. Of course, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm going to do? It's going to go in my blanket. So you get this big sort of mini skein, 218 yards of semi-solid, which is Carol Red, sparkles. These have all got sparkles. And then you get 12 little minis, all with so this one, for example, is Partridge in a Pear Tree. And they're all sort of colour themed to the particular line in the song. And this one, I'll show you, this one is Drummers Drumming.
Hey.
Yay. And that one looks kind of...
military.
Yeah, military, it does. Fantastic. And, I mean, I loved this one, the Geese Are Laying. I love the colours of that one. I mean, how fun is... This is just the funnest thing ever. And that's Calling Birds. I love that one with the pinks. Well, you can just... I don't know what to say. And then you also get 5 gold rings. How cool! Look, 5 little stitch markers, and it's my favourite sort of ones, just the little ring ones. You get 5 gold rings. So I will be knitting, a square of these as well as the opal ones into my blanket. And I thought, what about all you people who didn't get one of the opal cubes? I know it was pricey. I did think a bit about it before I bought it. I thought
so
what
we're
you
having
could
bread
do.
and cheese for Christmas.
We are, yeah. What I thought you could do is do like your own, make your own. Get your minis out and pick out 24 little minis. Randomly put them into little brown paper bags so you can't see inside, and put a little bit of tape over and just number them. Maybe mix them all up and then number them, and then you can make your own little advent, mini calendar, I suppose it is, isn't it? So fantastic. I'm just beyond excited about that. So Amber, I know we've spoken, but thank you so much. I'm still kind of gobsmacked, as we would say. And then yesterday we got another amazing parcel. And this, if I show you the paper, you will know immediately who it's from. You're all squealing, aren't you? You all know who this is from. It's from lovely Michelle.
Yes, it's from our kennels.
It's from lovely Michelle. At Dancing Dog Dye Works, and she just sent this amazing parcel. Where's your jam?
It's in the fridge.
Oh, she sent some homemade
Thanks,
jam, raspberry jam for Dan. He's put it in the fridge. He keeps all his jams in the fridge.
Anything special I keep in the fridge.
And then she sent 3 whole skeins. I mean, this is just... Again, when I opened this, I was literally... I couldn't speak. And I've kept the paper because, who wouldn't? She sent me this one, which is waltz worsted. Cozy Posy is the colourway. And look at that. How pretty is that? So it's like a pale grey with pinks and like a sort of pale limey green in there. Pistachio, maybe. Gosh, it's so pretty. So a whole skein of that. And then she sent us yarn for socks for me and Dan. And it's on her tweedy sock base. So it's 85 superwash merino, 15% Donegal neps. I was literally in tears when I saw the names of these two colourways. Look what she's done. Can you see? It's Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Oh, it's so cute. And it's self-striping. So this one obviously is for Dan here. Turquoisey blue, tealy blue I suppose, and brown. Purple and green for me. Oh, I'm so excited. And I kind of want to, I don't want to rush to cast these on. I want to have a time where I can cast them on and really enjoy it, you know. And I'll probably cast them on together, so I've got them going at the same time. I think that'd be super fun. Oh, fantastic. And then, oh my gosh, of course she sent me a whole bag of minis. And she sent 3 worsted weights for my worsted weight blanket. Look at these. Oh, look at the colours. Fantastic. And then the sock weight ones, oh my gosh. And I said to her yesterday, oh, I've got to resist casting one of the, adding these into my blanket tonight because I wanted to show you all first. Look, can you see? I'll show you all. She didn't. She said she forgot to label the colourways, but she can tell me if I need to know. I think that one might be my favourite. Look at that. And then Bryony loved, this was Bryony's favourite. Oh, it's like Easter egg colours, that one, isn't it? And then this one, and then, oh, look at that one. It's like rainbows, that one, isn't it? And then that one. They're all just beautiful, beautiful. So Michelle, thank you so much. I don't know what we do to deserve all this. I really, really don't. So
is that everything?
That, I think, is all my endy bits.
Yes.
Done that, done that, done that.
Wonderful. So that's the end of episode 37. Get ready for the trailer for our super secret Christmas project coming out on the 26th of November, which will be really cool. And I think all it remains for us to say is goodbye.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. It's great to be home. It's great to see you all.
We'll see you all soon.
Yeah, we will. Patrons will see you on Tuesday for more mitten tutorials. We'll be back next Friday with the next edition of the Patron Only podcast. So we'll see you guys then. Otherwise, we'll see you all for episode 38 in a couple of weeks.
Happy knitting.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.